Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Draftcast. My name is Rick Springhetti, and this is Grant McCagg. Grant, what do you have to say about today?
Rick, I think it's a great day to talk hockey.
Could not agree with you more, Grant. You're right on about that. And just out of curiosity, what's behind you?
Oh, and in my hand,
In your hand and behind you and everywhere. What is that?
Habscast, baby.
I love it. Tell me more.
Well, I'm not going to say too much right now. Just a little tease for people.
Okay.
Just going to let them know to stay tuned. There's some very exciting podcast news coming up here towards the end of August that I will fully divulge for everybody. But you can maybe get a bit of an idea of what it's all about by the name Habscast.
Yes.
Well, I will reveal all in a week or two.
Wow. You look excited, and that's a good sign because you have pretty high standards. So for you to be happy about this, there must be some really good content coming up for the public. And I myself can hardly wait. It's going to be just fantastic, I'm sure.
What's that you got on your head there?
What is this? This lovely little hat there is
Ah,
something new. A little Habs draft podcast Habcast logo on there. It
Habscast.
looks fantastic.
You got to get used to saying that.
Yeah,
Habscast.
Habscast is going to be the go-to word for the upcoming hockey season. So say it loud, say it proud, and get the word out, folks. It's a good one.
Yeah, I like I say, it's a little early yet to let the cat out of the bag, but let's just say stay tuned, and it's going to be very exciting news for everybody.
Absolutely, Grant. Absolutely. So, Grant, what a week it's been. The unofficial start of the draft season, I guess, this week with the Gretzky Hlinka Tournament. Final was, unfortunately for Canadian hockey fans, was USA Sweden. Tell me, Grant, about the game and about those two teams. Tell me what your impressions were.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the semifinal was good between Canada and US, right?
Yeah.
I hate when it comes down to you know what, and
Mhm.
for a team to advance. It was nice of Canada to have bounced back from being down, but they left it a little too much too late there to beat the US. And I believe what it was only the second time that the US has won the Hlinka
I believe
Gretzky.
so. I believe so. If even that, he
Yeah.
might have won it
Well,
once. I'm not even sure.
they don't send their national development team, right? So,
Right.
uh, very impressive for them to win it without several of their top prospects, obviously, because there always are
Mhm.
some of their top prospects on the development team.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament to how much depth there is outside of the development team this year. There's a lot. There's a lot more forward depth, especially
Mhm.
in the U.S. this draft, and it's interspersed too. There's some going to be playing in the USHL, uh, you know, um, CHL, throughout like different leagues, right? And
Right.
probably a couple in the BCHL and such. So um, it's good. I think that there's a nice crop of Americans for this draft, and there were several that impressed.
Mhm.
Hextall and Zelensky, I thought were very good throughout the tournament. Hextall looks like a really really solid prospect.
He was.
Um, Klepov's got lots of skill. Um, you run down the list there. There's a number, but those
Mhm.
three in particular stood out for me.
Mhm.
Um, on defense, I like Bogus. I think he's a good draft prospect, and Harper obviously he's not eligible for 2 years, but he's a dandy
He's good.
looking prospect. Didn't mind McLaughlin either. There's some things to like about Will McLaughlin's game as well, including his
I
size.
did.
So
I did like Will McLaughlin just in a sense that he was not playing, I believe, in a very high level for a lot of the year
Yeah,
last year. So there's probably a little bit more upside in terms of when he faces better competition.
right.
But he did stand out to me as a guy that I thought had something interesting to show, and he's somebody I think he'll be playing for Portland if I'm not mistaken for the upcoming year. If I might be wrong, but I believe it was Portland. So good opportunity for him to continue to develop those offensive skills because I did think he moved the puck rather well.
Yeah. It's funny, eh? There's a lot more American kids, 16, 17, going to be playing
Mhm.
CHL hockey now. Like
Yep.
what's happening here is that the CHL, what's happening with this is that like with the players being eligible to play college
Yep.
hockey, major junior players, is that that it's going to get a lot younger in the
Mhm.
CHL. There'll be a lot of there'll be more 16, 17-year olds that high quality than before, but they're going to lose a lot of 18, 19-year olds as we've seen the exodus of a number
Yes.
of high, prospects that figure, well, the next step for me is college, right?
Right.
Before I play NHL, it's one more level up. It's unfortunate for junior. I'm a little disappointed, but in a sense, it's like going to be high quality, what we used to call midget or
Yeah.
juvenile
Right.
hockey,
Right.
level, under 18, really good under 18 hockey in junior, and not as good older players. Like a lot of them are going to leave
Yeah.
for college, but it is what it is. We gotta accept it, and I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it's what's best for the particular prospects, and that's the most important thing. I do suppose, even though I think it's going to hurt Canadian junior hockey.
Yeah. I think also though I didn't realize this. I didn't foresee this happening, but I think it's going to hurt also the USHL tremendously because a lot
Yeah,
of players are going to
right.
decide to come to Canada
A
and
lot of
take on that, right?
exactly. A lot of there's quite a few kids that were playing in the USHL and a few that were playing in the USHL last year that were on this US team. They're going to go play um, college or sorry, CHL hockey this year.
Yeah, because
So
if we recall, two teams, I believe, um, Youngstown and I believe one more actually applied to play in the CHL next year, and they were kind of refused because it was a bit late. But they might be joining what I believe is the Ontario Hockey League, probably. So,
Muskegon,
I mean, a lot of things are up in the air, and people are going to have to adapt quickly, and the leagues are going to have to maybe rethink the way they do things in the past and try to be more forward thinking, and the organizations that could do that are really might profit from this and do things better and attract more players. But you're gonna have to really think quickly and adapt really fast to a never changing reality that's gonna be very difficult to really pinpoint how it's gonna go.
yeah, for sure. And getting back to
Yeah.
the Hlinka, Sweden. Obviously, I mean Hermanson and Nordmark
Yeah.
are you know potential top 10 picks in the draft. I would say
Absolutely.
it's fair to say
Yeah.
maybe top five. They'll be in the discussion for that.
Yeah.
There weren't many players that impressed me more, draft eligible players, especially up front
Right.
than those two. Uh, so they had a big game. I've got some highlights here. I've got
Please.
goals, the goals from the. Okay, that's not it. What's going on here? We're gonna have to switch to this. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. There's Hermanson.
Just great.
He has a rocket of a shot, and it was on display in this game. And there you saw another nice snapper from Harper what a geez, he's got another year of eligibility. What a
Incredible.
nice prospect. This was a really nice feed here. You see, caught Hextall. I really like his vision and puck skills. He's he looks like a legitimate first round candidate for sure, maybe top 20. And there was a bit of a fluke that Sweden. It's funny. I was doing a little promo with Liam McGuire and ended up going. I'll just pause this for a sec. I ended up going into the missed the first 10 minutes of this game, and I get up and it's 2-2. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah.
I was
I
not
think the
happy.
first goal was 8 seconds or something
Yeah,
like that. It
exactly.
was something like that.
And there, Hextall. What a nice snap, eh? Top corner. There were some nice.
Grant,
Go ahead.
one thing about Ekstall that caught my eye a little bit though is his positioning when he doesn't have the puck is outstanding, and he's
Yeah.
always a passing option, therefore creating a little bit more space for his line mates to make plays. The intelligence is outstanding. His vision is outstanding. He really impressed me very much.
Yeah. This is Klepov's goal, and you can see the skill. You saw it throughout the tournament.
Mhm.
That was actually his first goal. How many chances did he have in the tournament? And
Really.
he finally notched one here in the gold medal game. But
Yeah.
that was a sweet goal too. But then the Swedes got back in it with Hermanson. His shot is a weapon. He put up good numbers last year in the Swedish league. Gustafsson's a decent prospect on defense too. I think they've got a few good prospects, but Hermanson, Nordmark, Gustafsson, I think are the guys that stand out at this point from their draft class. But Swedes always have at least probably 9 to 10 top 3 round guys. There was Bogus. That was the penalties killed Sweden in the gold medal game. I think the U.S. had 3 power play goals. Goalie should have had that one, I think, too. Fair to say.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think goaltending was an issue for a lot of teams at this tournament, if I could be honest, though.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was not a strong point for anyone, I don't think.
No. And that penalty that the Swedes took at the I don't know. With they're trailing by a goal, and they called the guy just jammed for a loose puck, and they gave him a. I know the commentator said, "Oh, he pitchforked him," but I didn't see it that way. That was at that point in the game, 4-3, 2.5 minutes left, and he's just trying to get to a loose puck, and they called a penalty on him. I felt bad for the kid Kim, the Swedish forward, and then they put it away there with the late goal. But full marks to the U.S. for how they played in that tournament. They were solid. I think that they probably have maybe 10 guys that are in the mix for the top 3 rounds that were playing in the tournament, and that hasn't been the case in recent years. You're lucky if you have a half dozen usually. So it's encouraging as far as the depth of this draft goes that it's a little stronger in the U.S. this year.
And not players from the U.S. program. That's the great part, especially.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
It's
I don't
else.
know that I don't think the U.S. program's especially strong this year.
Okay.
So it's a bonus that they've got these other. But the one thing I'd say about this tournament, with exception of a couple of guys, wasn't a lot of high end talent in this year's Hlinka. There might be, the guys that I've mentioned that impress, but as far as surefire top 10 players go, the other than a couple of the Canadian defensemen there, and those 2 Swedish forwards, there weren't. I don't think you could say, well, there's 4 or 5 others that you would say are surefire first
Right.
round candidates at this point. I don't think so. We'll see. It's always too early at this time of year to judge.
Of course.
I know a lot of people try to, but judge the strength of a draft. I always think have a better idea by about January, just how
Yes.
strong a draft class is.
Yeah. I thought Oliver Suvanto, center from Finland, stood out a little bit. Not as a top 10 pick. That's too high there, but in the middle of the draft, end of the draft, 6'3" center, 205 pounds,
Sorry,
two-way
which
player,
one?
very good hands.
His name, sorry?
Oliver Suvanto, Oliver
Oh,
Suvanto.
okay. I think he was on the
Yeah,
wing, was he not?
he played some center, but he was also moved to the wing. But I did see him
Yeah.
play a little bit of center. He would also permeate a lot, and his line was a line that really would move quite a bit. But
Hemming,
he's one guy I thought that was not so bad.
Hemming's not bad either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a lot of things about the kid you mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about his skating. I think that maybe is the thing that will keep him out of the top of the draft.
Okay.
I saw a couple of times, especially when he lost the puck. I think in the game against Canada, where he did not look very fast trying to come back into the play, and I think that his quickness, but 6'3", 17-year-old, right? There's room to grow there. He just maybe has to get stronger, but you like the power aspect of his game. This power, size, skill, and smarts combination is pretty good. So yeah, no, he looks like a first rounder for sure. I think maybe his skating at this point at least looks like it might keep him,
Absolutely.
maybe
And
out of the
that's why
top 10.
I made sure to say, not top 10, more of
No,
the end of the first
that's
round.
yeah,
Again, it's as you said very clearly, it's way too early. And I would tell people all the time, look at who you had in the top 10 at the start of last year, and look who was in the top 10
oh
at the end
yeah.
of the year. There's a lot of changes, guys. So let's all
I
be patient and watch a lot of hockey because things
I'm
will happen.
I'm glad that
For
this
the
year
Canadian team,
I'm glad that this year I'm not doing a top 20 or top 30 list or at this time of year,
makes
because I,
sense.
I I've always avoided it in the past because I just find that it's just you don't it ends up being so different by the end of
Absolutely.
the this year, no, we're a little more oriented towards Habscast right now, put it that way.
Remember that word, guys.
More to come. Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about the Canadian team, Grant. What are your
Oh,
overall
do we have
impressions
to?
on this team?
Yeah.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, I guess so. Uh, every year I end up being frustrated by the coaching. You know, um, you. I mean, we were talking earlier today at the golf course. We weren't
Yes.
golfing, but um, and you mentioned about the fact that Canada was a little heavy on one side on defense, right?
Yes.
It,
Yes.
does it remind you of an NHL team in the last couple of years, maybe?
I'm getting some ideas of something
Yeah.
that is on one side.
Well, and I mean, when Carroll's got hurt,
Yeah.
then they everybody was shooting the same side. Uh Verhoff had to switch over, and he struggled.
He
He
did.
doesn't normally struggle, but I found that there were some struggles
Yeah.
the last couple of games with him. Well, the US game in particular,
Yeah.
and I thought that the defense got caught out of position quite a bit in that game.
Hmm.
And it was up until then they'd been pretty solid. I thought that would be the backbone of the team, and up until that game, it was. But Carroll's going down really affected them, and you could see it in that game. And U.S. depth. What what's been bothering me with Canada, uh, these teams lately is it's almost like they're they've been copying the U.S. with going with smaller guys, and especially in top six roles, and hoping that they can fight through the checking and the the tight games against the better teams and prevail. But it hasn't been happening. Like we saw it at the World Junior level, we saw it in this tournament. I did not. I was really impressed by Colin Fitzgerald. Um, I, I think he's one of their best prospects on the that was on that Canadian team. Like I'd put him top 5 as far as draft eligible guys for me at this point.
Okay.
He was fourth line center throughout the tournament. There's always a guy or two on Canada that I think gets doesn't get the ice time that he probably deserves at the Hlinka, because it's a strong team, right? And Wyatt Johnson comes to mind, and you can remember this, Rick, from when we did the rankings that year, and
Yeah.
you didn't think that he had that much offensive upside, and with good reason, because he played a bottom line role. He played a bottom 2 center role, so you didn't really get to see necessarily
Sure.
all that he had to offer, right?
Right.
At that
Right.
tournament. Remember, it was in Dallas or Texas, and during
Mhm.
COVID, and Wright and somebody else were ahead of him in the pecking order, and he played a bottom line center role.
Yes.
So a lot of people didn't rank him as high as I thought. I mean, I ranked him 16th. I don't know. I really liked him, but with respect to realizing that he wasn't playing as high up as he probably should have. Like I thought he outplayed Shane Wright, but Shane
Right.
Wright
Oh,
wasn't gonna. He was the golden boy. He was going to be the first overall pick, right?
no,
So
you
they weren't going
were
to put him
on
ahead
Wyatt
of.
Johnson from the top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Well, I have a similar feeling to a certain degree with Fitzgerald.
okay.
Um, I have some highlights here. I did
Oh,
up
please.
this is from the Swiss game, and he didn't get a lot of points in this tournament, but he was playing fourth line. He was playing fourth line center role. So, like, it's just not. It's not his game to be playing. Here we go. He's number 27, but he led the OHL Cup 2 years ago in scoring,
Okay.
and I always find that a very important factor in
Right.
a player in his draft year. I always look back at the OHL Cup year he was drafted, and he led everybody in scoring. Okay, comes into this tournament, one of the better skaters, 6'1", the most physical, the best defensive center, and they played him in a fourth line role and benched him in the second half of the US game.
Yeah.
Where they needed that. They needed him. I couldn't understand it. I could not. To me, he was one of the 3 best forwards on the team, and he was the 13th forward in the last 2 periods of the US game. Didn't play a shift, and I just couldn't believe it. But you can see it by these highlights, as I'll be showing you. He very smart away from the puck.
He is.
Really, he got back. He got back all the time. Was defensively conscientious. He maybe the best skater, certainly top 3 skaters among the forwards in the Canadian team, and he's 6'1". He again there had a very good chance. Didn't bury all of his chances, but again, they played him with fourth liners in
Yeah.
maybe 8 to 10 minutes a game. Look at that play. Like he made a lot
Excellent.
of good plays, yet for some reason the coaching staff thought, well, we got to go with 5'10" one-way players to fight through a strong two-way U.S. team, and I did not get it, Rick. I thought this kid would have helped them win against the U.S., and he sat on the
Oh
bench.
man. And as we said earlier, right? The U.S. defense struggled when Carl's went down, and guys were making mistakes and coughing up the puck. A good defensive center like what Fitzpatrick would have been a huge difference
You mean the
maker probably for
Canadian,
them.
the Canadian defense? Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You said the U.S. defense, but yeah,
Oh, sorry about that. The Canadian defense. Yes, the
yeah.
Canadian defense. Sorry.
But you see here, he drives to the net. I
Hmm.
really like his back checking, his speed. He's got decent hands. Again, he gets the puck in here, makes a play. He made a lot of good plays in this game. I think the coaching staff was thinking, well, he only has a couple points in the tournament. We need goals. So we're going to go with these guys that they thought maybe had more offensive upside. But look at him back check here and then gets the puck and then over to his
Solid.
defenseman. Solid player.
Solid.
I loved it. I put a lot of importance in, and here he plays the defensive role, right?
Again.
I
Wow.
put a huge emphasis on how you play away from the puck.
Yeah.
And, most people don't necessarily watch, unless they're scouting, right? They watch the puck. So
Yeah.
you don't always see, but if you're just watching him in these plays, he's just making good play after good player. He lost a puck once. There you go. But he makes a lot of really smart plays. And I love his skating and hustle here again, right back in the, like Valentini wasn't coming back like that,
No.
just for an example, who never missed a shift, right?
No.
Uh,
Exactly.
I just, against the US especially, and look at the net drive here. Nice. And then gets back, steals the puck again, gets it over. Like I thought he dominated, like just from, and he got less and less ice time. Did they not watch the tape on this? Like I'm a little bit flummoxed about why he ended up being the 13th forward when I I don't there aren't many forwards on the Canadian team that I would rank higher than him right now going into
Yeah.
the draft, to be honest with you.
No.
So, I mean, 6'1" center, skate like that, good two-way game. Not, he's not Denwye, but that a lot of the same type of qualities that I saw from Denwye in his draft year, right? That
Right.
that the intangibles, the things away from the puck, the smarts, the competitiveness, and he's got some grit too. He didn't necessarily display it in this game, but one of the more physical forwards on the Canadian team too. And again, look at him get back. He, I, I thought that would have been vital because they lacked some of the qualities that he has. There, he gets the puck again, brings it in. Good
Comes
skater,
in.
right?
Really,
Look at this.
really good clips, Grant. Really.
You know, and I mean, I'm watching this and thinking, okay, I don't think I liked any Canadian forward more early in the tournament. I was talking to a scout. I said after the first game, I said, geez, I like this Fitzgerald kid. Why is he playing the fourth line? He says, you tell me. I had him as the best forward in camp.
Wow.
So,
You know, I think, Grant, there's a fallacy with some people where they think offense is created through individual skill. And it's not just individual skills. It's hustle, it's smarts, it's taking advantage of opportunities, it's thinking the game well. He
yeah,
seems to have that, and there's a player that I don't know if stylistically comes to mind because I'm not sure if it's the same thing, but there's an NHL player who's had a long career. He's been productive. He's a Stanley Cup champion. Braden Chen. He's not individually skilled like crazy, but year after year, he
yeah,
produces a good amount of goals.
yep, yeah, for sure.
And these guys are there. You can't just look at how they dangle the puck or how fast they are on the outside. you got to look at how many chances are they producing
Look at
when they're
this
on
one.
the ice. And I'm seeing this guy go, and he's really
Look,
good. Look at that.
I just, you know, um, there was his assist, but all because of his net drive and speed, and hustle. Like, he's a really good skater. One of the best skaters I've seen so far in the draft class. And again, gets back. Really liked his play away from the puck throughout this game and throughout the tournament. And I don't think they would have been down 3-1 to the U.S. if he'd have played a top three role in
Yeah.
in the first two periods. I just don't think that uh, I I was disappointed that the kid that I was the most impressed with up front ended up being the one that was benched in the big game, and they ended up losing. I don't know if you can say it was because of that, but I don't think it helped. I think
No.
they dropped the ball on that one.
No, and to me, what you're showing me is he's doing a lot of things that the Americans did well, which is like the hustle, the speed, the good
Yeah,
defense, putting pressure, creating chaos in the offensive zone just by pressuring the opponent. And nobody was doing that for Canada. I found they're again probably a little bit because of the problems at defense and the injury to Carols, but their zone entries were not always the best. They were and their neutral zone play was not always the best. So they were not coming in with a in a very good position, if you will, towards the crease area. But somebody like Fitzgerald could have done that. He could have put the pressure on. He could have created that chaos that the Canadian team needed. And it's unfortunate, but you know,
yeah,
hopefully they live and learn. I guess is the only thing I could say. But overall, I mean, it's not like Canada had a terrible tournament, and year after year they've been good. But this would have been too bad because I thought, as you said, he would have helped a lot.
yeah. I just and because of that, your takeaways from this tournament. Like, if you're a young scout or whatever, and you look at the stats and you think, oh well, and then Fitzgerald didn't play, so you think, oh, you know, wouldn't even be one of the top 10 best Canadian forward prospects from the no. You have to watch him this year. I bet you there's a breakout in Peterborough, and he's very good. I think
Hmm.
he's a solid prospect, and I'm going to keep a close eye on him this year because I do believe that he didn't get the right role, didn't get the ice time he deserved at the link, and it happens usually every year with at least one guy that doesn't get uh, you know either doesn't get invited at all, like a Ginla, or just doesn't get to play as good a role as he could because other players are deemed to be better. Like the Ruck brothers. You can't convince me that they're against the US, just as example, that Fitzgerald wouldn't have been more effective playing a top three role than them. Just they needed that size, speed, uh, competitiveness. They needed more of that, and that's exactly what he brings. And I think,
Yeah.
anyways, I thought it was a mistake, but there's always a couple of guys like that I you know I get it that Canada's got a strong team, and you can't play everybody, but anyways, I like this kid, and I think he's a lot better than what people are going to judge from that tournament because he didn't get a much of a role.
Well, definitely somebody I'll be keeping an eye on for sure, Grant. And those clips were great. And to be honest, I thank you for putting them up because I didn't notice him myself as much as I should have, just because he wasn't playing very much. So,
Right. Yeah.
this is a good year for him in Peterborough, and we'll definitely keep an eye on him.
Good.
Grant, we're gonna segue a little bit to the Habs talk a little bit. What do you say about that?
Habscast, baby. Get used to
So
saying that.
listen, we've Habscast. We have to say it every time now, right? We can't forget. Um, listen, we're hearing, conflicting stories about Kirby Dach. We're hearing some people are saying he's doing just great in his offseason training. Uh, Some reports are saying that he's struggling a little bit during the offseason and he might not be ready to start the season. With that in mind, do you think Ken Hughes can afford to be patient, to wait uh, for him to come back, or do you think he's going to have to try to be a little quicker than expected, try to find a replacement for him?
Well, I think best man step up, right?
Right.
This gives an opportunity for Captain and Veleno Beck fight for that spot. Internal competition's good. Giving young guys a good solid look is good. They're all very worthy candidates to play center this year. Whether it's second line center, maybe that's a little asking a little much. Maybe Newhook gets gets by default. It's not like they made the playoffs last year with Newhook playing second line center quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it's the worst possible option. Like Newhook's got better, and he's still just coming into his prime. So presumably he'll just keep getting better. I think his defensive game has improved a fair bit, and that will help. That if he ends up being the guy that has to play, then there are worse options. I'm not crazy about Newhook at second line center, but I think Kapanen is well, we've talked about that before.
Yes, we have.
I would be comfortable with giving him a look at second line center if he has a really good camp. I think that is his ultimate upside.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers say it with what he's done in Europe. So, I would not. I would go into camp. I wouldn't be panicking. I would, and Doc will be ready. Like it might not be till mid-October or late October or November. So if you got to have a month where you give guys trials, maybe one of them steps up and he takes the bull by the horns, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have any potential guys to play the role. So
right.
I don't know that they go out and say, "Oh well, we have to trade for a second line center." They didn't have Demidov at the start of last year. They didn't have Line at the start of last year.
Right.
What if Line comes out of the gate like he did start of last year when he did come in, right?
Yeah.
Scored like he did, but in better shape. Well, whoever the center happens to be with Demidov and Line at that point is gonna end up looking better than maybe we expected, right? Because those could be a good line.
Yeah, I know, I agree, and those two could carry that line, and the center could just have to focus more on the D and try to make sure everything is taken care of at that part, and that might be working. But a name that's been
Kapanen is a really good two-way away from the puck center. That's why for me, I would have no issue if Kapanen has a good camp. Having him centering. In fact, I hope that's the case because I really think that those three could. There's a lot of different elements that I think would combine to make a really a solid second line. Your second line center doesn't have to be a 70-point scorer. He doesn't. The cup winners in the past 8 years, just about every one of them was 50, 60-point guy that was good defensively, smart, took care of his play away from the puck, right? But if Demidov and Line produce like they're capable of producing, whoever's playing center with them is going to get a decent amount of points too. So go ahead. I cut you off there.
I just quickly to say, I mean, Grant, you're not just throwing that out there. You showed us with video clips. You've demonstrated that that Kapanen could play good defense. It was very clear on the montage you put together a few episodes ago. So this is not just taken out of thin air. You've seen it. He's shown it. So I wouldn't also disregard Kapanen as an option. But there's a name that's been bandied out there for a few weeks now, maybe even a few months. And I know in theory he's like the best case scenario, but Mason McTavish, what about that?
Oh yeah, I hadn't never heard any or saw anything about.
No, nobody talked about him, eh? Nobody
No,
offered a second round pick and a third rate prospect for it.
yeah. Wow. I have really good intel on Mason. It's just negotiations are going on.
Yeah.
It's there's guys that don't get signed till training camp every year, and just because he hasn't signed yet does not mean that Verbeek is trying to trade him. Because I know Pat Verbeek, I know the type of players that Pat Verbeek likes
Mhm.
and the type of player he was. That's the type of player Mason McTavish is. Like,
Right.
there's not even a smidgen of hope that Verbeek wants to trade him. He, you know, an up and coming young team with a core very similar age group to Montreal's, with all these high draft picks, all between the age of 18 and 25. Yeah, he'd be perfect on Montreal, but where else he'd be perfect?
Where?
Anaheim.
I thought you were going to
So
say 30 other teams.
yeah, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where
No,
else?
I agree.
Oh,
I
yeah,
agree.
he'd be great to have on the Habs, a good up and coming young team with all that young talent. Anaheim's is in the exact same position. So no, he's gonna sign with Anaheim, and all of this rumor, all these clickbait. Oh, Habs close to getting McTavish and all that BS that we keep reading is gonna go away. But get get out of fantasy land there, Habs fan. You're not getting Mason McTavish, unfortunately.
We'd all love to, but yeah, I agree. I mean, and then the return that you're gonna have to give up, you're just gonna create another hole somewhere else, anyways, right? Like you don't want to make a trade that's gonna make your team. That's not gonna make your team any better because you're not gonna. You usually trade in a
Well,
position of power for something you're missing.
if you
That's how you
offered
should
them
do it.
Demidov, they'd consider it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think anybody wants that.
Well,
Uh, one last question, Grant, before we head out. Lane Hutson is another one of those players that's not due to sign a contract, but we're this talks about an extension. Uh, what do you think you see him signing for in terms of terms or money that you see that happening? Because I think we all agree he's going to stay with the Habs for a while, for a long time, I think. And then, so what are you looking at? What do you foresee in your crystal ball, if I could, in your Habs Draftcast ball, if you will?
yeah, Habscast. Oh,
Habscast, that's it.
it's going to take you a while to get. Eh?
It'll
You're going
take
to
me a
say
little bit,
Habs
yeah.
Draftcast for quite a while, aren't you? Yes, I think that he's well, he hasn't signed yet, so what? Maybe they're going to trade Hutson for McTavish.
That's the plan, right? No,
Yeah, probably. There's probably Anaheim fans saying, "Hey, Hutson hasn't signed yet.
could be. Yeah,
Why don't we trade for him?" Like, yeah, I, you got to give him big money, term and big money. Like, I don't think. What do you think? 8 to 10 million, somewhere in there.
Oh, I say a little smidge of a little smidge above Noah Dobson just because of his upside and his age and all that and for 8 years. And I think if
Yeah.
you offer him that, no, he'll be in. And I
What?
think I think it'll be all over that, and I think he wants to stay. From all accounts, from all I've read, from all I've seen, he's just loving it here. And what you're
Yeah.
telling him, and you might even go for a little bit less than that in a sense, because what you're telling Lane Hutson is, as you get into your best years of your career, we're as an organization getting into being a long-term contender. You might play the next 8 years with a Stanley Cup contending team in a great city like Montreal. Do you want to go somewhere else, or do you want to stay here and experience that? And like, that's such a thrill for a young player. I'm going to make good money, and I'm going to be contending for a cup for the next 8 years of my life. Wow!
Yep. Yeah.
Give me that any day.
Yeah. But he could win 2 or 3 Norris trophies, and in 5 years there could be defensemen making $5 million more dollars than him, right?
Yeah. Right.
So you gotta open the vault.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't just say, well, Suzuki, we can't pay you more than Suzuki or what. Well, yeah, you can.
You have to.
Suzuki
You have to.
Suzuki got because of circumstances, because the cap wasn't going up yet. You didn't know when the cap was going up, and all that stuff. He's not going to be making as much money as Lane Hutson in a couple of years. It's just the way it is. And
Yeah.
mind you, Suzuki didn't win a Calder Trophy in his rookie season either, right? So
No.
there's a leverage there. I don't see Hutson taking a bunch less because he loves Montreal and they might win cups and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think it'll be they'll have to overpay him. I don't
No.
I don't foresee that. I think he'll sign for a fair deal. It'll be fair for both sides.
Absolutely.
That's where it's handy that a former agent is the GM. He knows both sides, right? He's got experience on
Yeah.
both sides of the table now.
Yeah.
He'll be fair with him, but not also not give him a Bergevin type deal where it's he won't do it with his heart. He'll do it with his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And on the bright side, so far, I can't say I've been upset with any contract Kent Hughes has dished out to any of the Habs players so far at all. Like I've been so thrilled with every single one of his deals so far.
Right. Yeah. No, he hasn't had to break the bank on anybody. There are no contracts where you'd say, "Oh, that guy's grossly overpaid."
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree 100%. Grant, it's been another great episode. I can't thank you enough for all your great comments and your insight. Folks, it's Habscast. I'm getting it. It's preseason for me too, but look at that beautiful mug. Look at that beautiful background. Great looking cap. And as Grant says, we're going to have a lot of great news to share. Grant's working really, really hard for you folks. And really, it's an exciting time to come on board with us and have a great season with the Habs and to talk hockey in general, right, Grant?
Oh yeah, it's a great year to talk hockey.
Wonderfully said. Everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. All right.